Ukraine spends about USD 350 million on centralized medical procurement every year, treating hundreds of thousands of patients. As recently as 6 years ago, medical procurement was thoroughly corrupt and expensive, with markups on common medicines of almost 40%. Now prices are among the lowest in the region. So how are things fixed? Patients' movement. The story begins with civil society. 100% Life, one of Ukrainian patient organizations, fought for access to treatment of people with HIV/AIDS, tuberculosis, and hepatitis. For years, 100% Life uncovered corrupt schemes and rip-off prices for medication. They protested against inefficient procurement by the Ministry of Healthcare. Dmytro Sharemby, head of the Coordination Council of 100% Life, says, "Corruption threatened our lives, and we fought against it." Transfer of procurement to independent organizations. The situation changed dramatically following the Revolution of Dignity. In 2015, the patient community managed to ensure the passing of a law that transferred all the centralized procurement of medicines to international organizations, such as the UNDP, UNICEF, Crown agents. Ukraine also simplified regulatory procedures for the international procurement of medicines, in particular by introducing accelerated registration. That helped to make the Ukrainian market attractive for international pharmaceutical companies. In the first year, international organizations ran central procurement of medicines. The prices dropped by 40% on average. Olga Stefanishina, Deputy Minister of Healthcare from 2017 to 2019, says, "We saw that huge amounts of money had been laundered in Ukraine through medical procurement." Patients in the spotlight. Patient organizations helped build an effective list of essential medicines, and international pharma companies were invited to bid to supply these in order to drive competition and reduce prices. In 3 years, they managed to fully ensure patients' treatments for HIV, hepatitis, and tuberculosis, to provide citizens with vaccines in line with the vaccination calendar, and to procure many more high-quality medicines under other programs. Victoria Romaniuk, who was diagnosed with breast cancer in 2016, received the expensive treatment with trastuzumab for free. Victoria Romaniuk, co-founder of CSO Athena, Women Against Cancer, says, "Today all women are provided with this medicine. Those who are diagnosed now cannot believe things used to be so different." Transparent procurement system. Back in 2016, the electronic procurement system, Prosura, started working in Ukraine. Its key principle is everyone sees everything. Prosura also provides transparent auctions for reducing prices and business intelligence tools based on open data, so everyone can see who bought what items at what price, and everyone can see the price differences among distributors and suppliers. This empowered civil society organizations to monitor procurement. In 2018, the state enterprise Medical Procurement of Ukraine was established. It was meant to gradually take over procurement from international organizations and to buy medicines just as efficiently via Prosura. Competition and open contracting principles. In 2020, the state enterprise conducted centralized procurement of medicines under 14 programs, including adult and pediatric oncology, hemophilia, and HIV/AIDS. Through Prosura auctions, they were able to save over USD 38 million, or 21.5% of the estimated cost based on last year's prices. How does Medical Procurement of Ukraine achieve these results? The team adopted the regulatory tools that worked for international organizations and did an enormous amount of work with the market, openly drafting and explaining their tender documentation and encouraging companies to bid. There were concerns that pharmaceutical companies wouldn't want to publicly show their prices on Prosura, but participated enthusiastically and significantly reduced their prices during the auctions. Arsen Zhumadilov, director of SE Medical Procurement of Ukraine, says, "Competition and transparency are a more powerful driver than opaque agreements with a specific supplier." This year, Medical Procurement of Ukraine bought trastuzumab. That is the same medication that was used to treat Victoria's breast cancer. At the auction, they managed to reduce the price from USD 150 to USD 60 per bottle. Readiness to resist pressure. In 2020, the team of the Medical Procurement of Ukraine has faced enormous pressure. This included attempts to restrict the institution's independence and discredit its work, or to delay and interfere with its tenders by those who want to return to the bad old days. Arsen Zhumadilov has spoken publicly about these attacks, because transparency is the best safeguard against corruption. Open data on Prosura has helped shield the state enterprise by enabling it to engage the most important ally, the patient community, who can see the results and savings it is achieving. After all, it should be the patients whose interests come first in medical procurement. Open contracting partnership.